Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and this time we've got the pleasure of watching Moogie playing in the AMX 50B. This is the Tier 10 French heavy tank, and boy is it a fast, heavy assassin. It has the mobility that heavy tanks can generally only dream of. Its top speed limit is 65 kilometers an hour, and unlike tanks such as the IS-7, which also have a very high top speed limit, it has the horsepower to ton ratio to get it to its top speed, at least along flat surfaces. 1,200 horsepower allow the AMX 50B to take advantages of positions that really only medium tanks and light tanks can at the start of the game. He's managed to sneak up into, in my opinion, the strongest position to go to for the western spawn without even being spotted. Now, why do I like this location so much? Well, from here, you can get easy spots and shots through the bushes at your opponents over here, such as this 110. Moogie is going to take advantage of that and use the 4-round 120mm autoloader to rip apart the first tank of the game. Good night, sweetheart. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't quite manage to hit him there, dipping low and left. Unfortunately, it was the fire from the T-54E1 that finishes him off. But at least he's out the game, right? So from this position as well, another reason why I like it is because if anyone tries to play aggressively to try and get to these rocks here, you can snipe at them, have good opportunity to do so. And then eventually, when your opponents try to make it around this corner, you can dictate the pace of the combat. Looks like his platoon mate, who is called Corny in his FE215B, is going to take up that position. And eventually, if the enemies do push around here as well, if you fall back, you can hide most of your hull, and generally they're quite distracted and get easy shots into them. Talking about easy shots, it looks like Moogie has managed to lock down a Tier 9 German medium tank on the enemy team. One of the best players on the enemy team, just absolutely brutally ripped apart. And that's what these 120mm autoloaders do. Now, of course, this isn't the only tank at Tier 10 of the heavy variety that has an autoloader of this nature. There's also the T-57 Heavy, that Tier 10 American heavy tank, which is very similar, at least with regards to how the gun works. But there are some differences that you must take into account if you want to be able to outplay T-57 Heavies and AMX 50Bs, depending on whatever tank you're in. So the AMX 50B used to have 3 seconds of aim time. A few patches ago, this was buffed to 2.5 seconds, whereas the T-57 Heavy, I believe, had its aim time nerfed from, I think it was either 2.5 or 2.7 to 2.9. So effectively, their aim times almost switched. And so that means now that the AMX 50B can actually get all of its shots off, fully aimed, between the delay between the shots, which is 2.5 seconds. Now that's another thing you need to realize about the 50B compared to the T-57 Heavy, and that is that the 50B has an extra half a second between each one of its shells in its magazine. So between the shots, you're going to have 2.5 seconds to do what you feel like you can. It doesn't look like it's going to do this T-37 many favors. Moogie is ripping him apart, shutting him down, doing 1,016 damage. And this vehicle just feels so right at these mid to long ranges, something that the T-57 Heavy can only dream of. Fair enough that T-57 Heavy only has 2 seconds delay between its shots, and so effectively a T-57 Heavy, from firing the first shell, can unload its entire magazine for 1,600 damage within 6 seconds. It's going to take an AMX 50B 7.5 seconds to do that much damage. There are other differences between the tanks. Obviously, the 50B has got so much more mobility than the Tier 10 American heavy tank autoloader, but its armor is much, much worse. The turret armor on this tank is 100mm, but the vehicle does get 8 degrees of gun depression, which means that it can sneak shots over ridgelines like this, and because of the angling on the turret armor, you can manage to bounce E100 shells. Now, that was not a 150mm bounce. The E100 is effectively using the mouse gun, the same gun that you get on the E75. But that should have made it even easier for him to penetrate, as the standard ammunition on that tank does have higher penetration than on the 150mm gun. And so a well-angled 50B turret, even with only 100mm of armor, was able to ricochet a shot there when you're using the 8 degrees of gun depression this tank gets. It's something that you should take into consideration when you're shooting at the turret of this tank. When he's hull down against you with 100 millimeters of armor, he can still pull off some quite effective bounces against certain types of ammunition. So Mugi is trying to connect to the cupola of the T-124, unable to do so, bit unfortunate. And now commences a 28-second reload, telling his team how long he's got to reload left. The pressure is on. The enemy are trying to push through that southern flank, and it looks like the pressure is starting to get to Mugi here, as he decides to change from reloading AP ammunition to APCR ammunition. But when you're having to deal with an E-75, an E-100, and a T-124, and your team are down 3 tanks, I guess the pressure was just getting to him here. Now these APCR rounds completely unnecessary against the side of the E-75. Not really necessary there, but this final one, look at this. Right through the upper hull armor of the E-75 as he reversed up the slope. So what the E-75 did there is, because he reversed his tank up that slight gradient, that actually made it so that his upper plate was no longer angled very effectively at all, which allowed the APCR rounds, which have got 325 millimeters of penetration, to butter their way through his albeit thick hull armor. So Mugi is in a very tricky situation here. He's kind of... well, actually, after securing the kill on that E-100 there, putting a nice shot through his turret, the situation is actually looking better and better. His team is still down by 2 tanks, but as he's got a T-30 above him and an E-4 supporting him from behind, who looks like he just got... nope, didn't quite get nailed by the T-124 on the enemy team. He's actually in some quite good control here. The last thing that you want in your autoloaders is when you're being pressured by multiple opponents. And right now, Mugi is able to dictate the pace of the combat. That is what you want in your autoloaders, as he shuts down the Tier 10 American turreted tank destroyer. So, the enemies have taken the center of the map. Mugi is doing a good job of playing the assassin role that you have to in your AMX 50B. You never want to be a heavy tank in this vehicle. You want to effectively use your friends to tank for you, and then use the tremendous amount of damage that this vehicle can do to be able to pick them apart. Now he's going 1v1 here with a Lerva. That's a bit dangerous. A Lerva has 1,650 hit points. And remember, the magazine potential of this tank is 1,600. So he's going to have to roll high here. 2 good ones to start. One final one. He needs to roll slightly high. Oh my word. That was fortunate. 1,650 done out of his 1,600 average. If he hadn't managed to kill that Lerva there, I'm pretty sure this T-30 wouldn't have been able to help him out. Maybe the artillery might have. That would have been very awkward. But a good kill there, killing the entirety of that Tier 8 German premium heavy tank in a single magazine. And now, despite his best efforts, Mugi is still outnumbered by 2 tanks on the enemy team. It's him, a T-124, and a T-30, and a self-propelled gun versus 5 tanks on the enemy team, and 1 self-propelled gun. So, the Borsig sounds like he's using that 150mm, shuts down the T-30. Mugi finds a T-54E1. That's a tank you want to take out quickly in your AMX 50B. If that thing gets your side, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Great result there, oh my word, a WT Alpha E100 going into the base. Hopefully the WT Alpha E100 will go after the artillery, who shuts down the Borsig above Mugi. Great result there for the Object 261. That's a very valuable tank taken down. And so that might mean that Mugi now has a chance to deal with this Tier 10 German medium tank, the Leopard 1, who's approaching in and putting pressure on the T-124 on his team. He's got 3 shells left. That's 1,200 damage. 1 right into them. The Leopard just ignores Mugi and decides to flank the T-124. Great play here by Mugi. This is exactly what he needs to do. Just be the assassin and pressure his opponents, shutting down the Leopard. Great result, and the T-124 is still alive. Fantastic work there. It looks like the Waffenträger Alpha E100 was capping, but has come to the front of the cap circle. He's likely to be here now and will shut down the T-124 quickly. Or maybe not. Maybe not. It looks like he decided that it wasn't the correct idea and went back into the cap circle to start to apply pressure. I guess, considering he's got a Tier 10 self-propelled auto-loading gun on his team, that he might in fact just want to spot the T-124 and the AMX 50B and get some support fire. Now the Waffenträger Alpha 100 on the enemy team has got 883 hit points left when he was last spotted. We're going to see, oh my word, he's called Pikachu 12. Wow. We're going to see if Mugi's able to catch them all here, possibly. We'll see who Now, attacking into this cap circle is quite tricky because of all the buildings. It means that he's going to have to probably proxy spot and then get into an awkward situation with a WT Alpha E100. But luckily, he caught him napping. 1 into his turret, 2 into his turret. The WT puts 1 into him, but luckily, Mugi completely outplayed him there, catching him unaware and shutting him down. Great result. 883 damage done to that tank, and securing his 9th kill of the game. But the T10 decided that he wanted to go hero and gets caught by the IS-3 and shut down. Absolute painful result there. That means that Mugi now has to go one-on-one with the IS-3 that has also got the support of a self-propelled gun. This is a tricky situation. The IS-3, luckily for him, is on 350 hit points, so he only probably has to hit him once unless he low rolls. He's going to try and get close to him by the looks of it. He can take a shot from the IS-3, but only one. You've got to hope that the artillery doesn't deal with him. He bounces the first shot off the front of the IS-3. The second one as well. Calm down, Mugi. No! Last shot, last chance. Don't do it. Oh, my word. Thank God that one went in and the artillery misses his first shell. Remember, this is an auto-loading artillery with not long delay between each of the shots. Oh, this second one shaves 64 of Mugi's hit points off, leaving him on 60 now. Holy crap, that one was close. Sounds like the artillery just fired his third. Not sure if he's going to fire his fourth. The artillery's probably given up trying to get Mugi here. Or maybe he had fired one earlier. We're unsure, but it's likely now that the artillery is going to reload. And it doesn't look like Mugi is going to hang around, probably knowing that the artillery is going to be reloading for the next minute. He's got enough time, using the excellent mobility of this tank. As we mentioned, 65 kilometers an hour, 1,200 horsepower engine, the mobility of a medium tank to go and start to pressure the enemy's base. Completely the right thing to do here. I feel that when you're going into this kind of a cap circle and airfield, it'll be quite tricky for the artillery to be able to catch you. When you're in an autoloader and you don't really need to have much delay between your shots, unlike, for example, if you're in an IS-7 where you might have to shoot the bat chat twice, I think it'll be quite tricky for the self-propelled gun to be able to catch Mugi here. Plus, he's got a lot of cover to hide behind. It's just about working out where he wants to stop. This is when you're in this kind of a situation, the pressure is on. It really is. And you start to like double think yourself, am I in the right position? Can I get into a better position? Am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? What shall I do? Those are all what's going through Mugi's mind here. And all it will take is one single splash from the Tier 10 auto-loading French self-propelled gun to take him out the round here. 10 kills, 10,600 damage. I really hope this isn't going to be a heartbreak. He waits. Now a minute left for the artillery to make his move. There he is. Mugi puts his first shot in. Oh, beautiful. Got him here. Fantastic result. Good use of some cover. Putting in 2 clutch shots into the bat chat artillery and securing his 11th kill and over 11,000 damage this game. What a round of World of Tanks. Mugi showing you exactly why the AMX 50B is a force to be reckoned with, especially at mid to long ranges. We saw him shut down that 110 and the T32 with such precision that the T57 Heavy pretty much is no longer capable of doing as quickly as the AMX 50B, as that really gives this vehicle a specialization. I also love the fact that this tank gets 8 degrees of gun depression all around the tank. It doesn't have worse gun depression over the back of the vehicle, which gives this tank lots of flexibility to keep moving, use that fantastic agility that this vehicle has, and to take down its opponents one by one with this 120mm main armament. So let's just take a very quick look at the post-game stats. So what a result for Mugi here. A Pools medal for his 11 kills in this round. A high caliber. What an achievement. 144,000 credits. 2,667 experience. Was that with any kind of a bonus event? Oh my word, it wasn't. 1,778 base experience in a tier 10. That's a huge result. However, even though Mugi made 144,000 credits this game, after the huge amount that he spent on ammunition, he only made 6k profit. But I don't think he gives an absolute monkeys after doing 11,000 damage in a tier 10 tank. Congratulations to you, what a result. There's no doubt that you got a little lucky at times in this replay, but you have to be able to have these kind of ridiculous games. 11 kills and 11,000 damage at tier 10 is simply preposterous. I was really worried at the end of the game when you were fighting 1 versus 1 against that Lerva. If you hadn't rolled that final shot high, it's very likely that he would have been able to do significant amounts of damage to you before you were able to reload again, and it's unlikely that you would have got support. And thank God after the auto-aim panic that you did against the IS-3 at the end, you connected the last shell. Otherwise, it would have been such a heartbreak for you to not take down this round. Nevertheless, this was a fantastic round, Mugi. Thank you so much for sending it in on the replays website. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys did as well. If you did, please consider giving this video a like down below. It really helps the channel out. And if this replay has sparked your interest in how to dominate in the AMX 50B, then simply click through up here and you can go through to see Babuin carrying his socks off in the tier 10 French heavy tank. And let me know in the comments down below what you think about the AMX 50B, especially how it stacks up compared to the Bat Chat and also the brand new TVP T50/51. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.